Congressman Khanna of California joins us now. Congressman, good to see you.
Always good to see you, Chris. Thanks for having me.
So Cenk Uygur's on the show. He's throwing bombs all over the place, and he says, and Khanna is part of our rebellion. Are you part of a rebellion? And if so, what are you rebelling against, my friend?
Well, it's pretty simple. We want to get money out of politics. We want to stand for popular policies that the Democrats are for, paid family leave, increasing the living wage, making sure we're investing in manufacturing and renewing the country, and we want generational change. And Cenk thinks that we need outside voices in the party to get it focused on the economy and popular policies.
So if you are a rebellion trying to change the ranks, what does that do to your standing within the party? I mean, Jerry Connolly is stepping down at oversight. I had you at the top of my bingo card for somebody who could step in there for the Democrats. Are you worried about alienating the muscle in your party by being a change maker?
Well, sure. Look, I've said that primaries are a good thing. That is not going to make you a ton of friends in the Congress. But my goal is to have a substantive vision for the country. And I will criticize Donald Trump. I have all the time. I criticize J.D. Vance. But, you know, I'm more interested in putting forth a positive vision of what's going to create economic growth in places like Lorain, Ohio, and Johnstown, Pennsylvania, what's going to actually bring electronics manufacturing back, what's going to create new technology jobs. And so my time in Congress, I'd rather spend on a positive, substantive agenda for the American people.
Yeah, good for you. That's what people put you in there to do, to be in the business of better. That's how your party gets back on top anyway, not by just saying Trump is worse. I mean, that is an empty well for you guys at this point. So you're going to these town halls, Nebraska and elsewhere, as you just mentioned. There is a common concern about Medicaid, right? You got 85, 90 million people oversampled in Democratic states because the governors there expanded Medicaid coverage. A lot of the red state governors didn't, so they have disproportionately more uninsured. But this idea that they're afraid of Medicaid being cut, isn't it Democrats spreading that it's going to be cut? Why do you believe that?
Well, I heard your whole interview with Dr. Oz. He's obviously a smart guy, but you know what he didn't offer you was any specifics. And I'd welcome to talk to him, either on your show or privately. If you want to cut the Medicare waste, here are three specifics that I would give you. First, Medicare Advantage is actually making their patients sicker than not. If you go after that, you would have significant savings. He never even mentioned Medicare Advantage because of the influence of private insurance and companies on our politics. Second, you notice he didn't mention anything on prescription drugs. That would be hundreds of billions of dollars of savings if we negotiated prescription drugs, like President Trump has said on the campaign trail he wants to, so that Americans aren't paying more than people in other parts of the country. And the third biggest savings you get is if you required hospitals not to charge 3 times as much for an X-ray or a CT scan as you'd go be charged if you went to a clinic. But, you know, Dr. Oz was a lot of words, and he's obviously a smart guy, but there were no specifics there. And that's because he's not willing to challenge some of these special interest pharma companies, hospitals, Medicare Advantage. And look, the Republicans, it's a fact, voted for $1.5 trillion of Medicaid cuts. You called him on the waste, fraud, and abuse. That is maximum $50 to $60 billion a year. Even if you take his $100 billion, and he didn't specify where it's going to come from, it still doesn't equal the cuts that they've voted for.
But when you say they've voted for them, where are we getting that from in this current budget proposal? Because what he did say off the top is the president has told me we're not going to make any cuts to Medicaid that would affect the services that are going out. We just got to find waste, fraud, and abuse. And he has his own reckoning of how to do that. But again, the Democrats are saying they're going to cut your Medicaid. Where? Because they voted for that last time?
Well, look, I think, you know, I'm always a a fair broker, try to be. The Senate side didn't want to do the cut, and the Senate side, because Josh Hawley and others called up the president and said, we can't cut it. The House version did have those cuts of up to $880 billion, and I guess we'll see what the president decides. I mean, it's very well possible they're not going to go with the House version. I hope they don't go with the House version, and I hope they are true to their commitment on not having services cut. But it is fair to criticize the House members who voted for those cuts, because there's no way you get $880 billion of cuts just going after fraud and abuse. And what I'd say to Dr. Oz is, where is the fraud and abuse that you're going after if you're not going after Medicare Advantage, you're not going after prescription drug pricing, and you're not going after the hospitals that charge more? I mean, it's just empty rhetoric if you're not willing to take on those actual special interests.
Ro Khanna, I appreciate you making the case and being in the business of better. I wish you good luck with the rebellion.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris.